Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's after Thanksgiving Sunday. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We'll get into some of that tonight as we kind of talk about Inter Miami and what we're thankful for. Is there anything that we could be thankful for? We'll talk about some of that stuff. Plus, we've got a great guest tonight. But all that and more. But let's first say hello to everybody's favorite uncle. Let's say hi to Uncle Ed. Ed, how you doing? How was your Thanksgiving, Ed?
I'm fat. I'm fatter than I usually am, Peter Brown. So,
I'm glad you said fatter than usual because I was going to say, what's new?
Right. I'm fatter than usual. I eat a lot, and unfortunately, it's not going to stop from here until Christmas. So maybe the new year I'll do a Peter Brown diet, and I'll be skin and bones like you.
No, you just got to control yourself. I mean, to smaller portions, Ed.
I don't know if I could do that, Peter.
Portion control. That's what it's all about.
Well, we got a great show today, Peter.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Alex, who's she's Alex Windley is a soccer journalist on a bunch of different podcasts. So we figured she should join at least one more because she doesn't do enough, right? So we're going to talk to Alex in a little bit, in just a minute. But before we do that, and everybody in the chat room will say hi to you guys. And if you haven't already chatted in something, say hello in the chat. But before, as always, within the first few seconds of this show, we got to give a proper thanks to Caneswear. And if you want to do your Christmas shopping, this is the place to go. You got to go to Caneswear and get all your Inter Miami gear at a much greater discount than you will at any place else. Go to Caneswear in Davie, and if it's a little bit too far for you to drive, because maybe you're in Kendall or something like that, or heck, I mean, maybe you're in North Florida and you're an Inter Miami fan up in Orlando territory or something like that. Go to Caneswear.com and get all of your Inter Miami gear at a greatly reduced price and support local business. That's way better than going to one of these big box stores. And Ed, we've talked about it before, but if you go to Caneswear, you can get the XBTO branding on your shirt. I mean, they could put it on this shirt, they could put it on that shirt if you wanted for $10.
So, exactly.
Good way to get in the door.
So do it, guys. Yeah, Peter, let's go and say hi to people. There's a lot of people on the chat already, so
okay.
It's I'm pretty excited. I guess Alex is bringing all her people over or something. So, or they just like her. We've got Jose Velasquez who's on here. How's it going, Jose? Chris Menendez, how you doing, bud? The best photographer there is out there in the stadium and anywhere. Chris Arjun is with us. Alejandro Michel, how's it going, bud? Esteban Dido, one of Peter's favorite critics. Baldwin 4 is also with us. All right, cool stuff. Kata, how's it going, man? Kata is with us. Judge Dredd the Law, an Arsenal fan right there. B King, how you doing, B? Hope to see you in the stadium soon. We got Mighty Justin also with us. And of course, One World, One Goal, always supporting us. We've known her forever. How you doing? One World, One Goal. Okay. I think that's it for now.
That's it for now. And if you're joining, and mention yourself, and we'll say hello. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get to our guest. Like I said, you can follow her on Twitter, where she's kind of taking deep dives in some of the prospects and things like that. She's on several different podcasts. She's on the Heron Outlet, Lemon City Live. She does something with the MLS Multiplex and World Football. So she's everywhere covering Inter Miami. So let's say hi to our friend Alex Windley. Hey, Alex, how are you doing?
Yay. Hello, how are you guys? Alex. I'm good.
We're big fans of you. At least I'm a big fan of you. You're like I was mentioning you earlier. You're like the next Michelle Kaufman. You get all these exclusives, and every time I want to hear any rumor, I just go over your Twitter and usually have some good stuff. I mean, I think you spend most of your time on the computer looking for information. So, thanks for doing it because some of us don't have the time.
Yeah, it's a crazy transfer market out there, and I just try my best to get the most accurate information for Inter Miami fans.
Already some love coming in for you. You haven't really said anything. Yes, we love Alex. She is awesome. My Twitter friend too. Baldwin Four says Alex is a great guest. She's a solid reporter. And Judge Dredd the Law says, "Sup, Alex? Great to see you live." Judge Dredd, though, I got to see. I see him posting pictures of him in his Arsenal shirt and everything. He wants to wear an Arsenal polo because it's dress up day or whatever. Come on, man. I put the black and pink on and put away the red.
Exactly. But he likes the red. He likes, he probably has Arsenal underwear too. So
Yeah,
but yeah.
they sell Inter Miami underwear too.
Wow, did you get some already, Peter?
No,
Okay.
but my wife has limits. Well, I was at Disney Springs doing some shopping, and there was some Mickey underwear, and she's like, no. She said, no. So there's limits apparently in this house, and that I have to abide by. So, what can we say? And then this is the great content you have to look forward to, Alex. This kind of nonsense. We like to get off tangents and talk about stupid stuff, but this is the silly season where everybody is rumored. For example, where was it? Esteban says his was a joke, but latest rumors, let me guess, Messi and Ronaldo will be signing with Inter Miami. So that was a joke, but it wasn't a joke in the past because those are the kind of rumors that are mentioned with Inter Miami. So, we know that there are 2 Brazilians that are being mentioned, and I do know that you did a little bit of research on some of them. So let's talk about those guys. I know you were kind of posting what some of their tendencies. You did a little research on them. So let's I think the one that they've mentioned that was offered some money. Now I don't know how much truth there is to this or not, but maybe you can tell us what you've heard. But the first one, let's start off with Rafael Veiga. I don't even know how to say his name because the I is not before the E. So if it was before the E, it'd be Viega, but it's after the E. So what is it? It is Brazilian. So maybe it's Vija. I don't know. But what do you think of this guy?
An absolute top player. Absolutely. If Inter Miami are able to get him at the club, it'll be, I guess one of their bigger transfers, which is, well, they've not had a lot, but he would definitely be a focal point of that attack. As far as the transfer rumor goes, it's gone a bit quiet now. Palmeiras just won the Copa Libertadores the other day with Vega scoring in what was it, 6 minutes. So it would be a coup for Inter Miami to get him. But it's gone a bit quiet mainly because I think Inter Miami is going to do most of their business in December where they can trade some players. Plus, Palmeiras, their season isn't officially over yet. I believe they've got 3 more games left. So any transfer rumor, it's right now it's dead in the water because he's still currently a Palmeiras player. So come December, you should definitely see more movement in that regard. So, but as far as him as a player, he's absolutely brilliant. I think the club are looking to move on from Rodolfo Pizarro. Vega would be a a better replacement, I would say, a better fit for.
Well, anything's an
Inter
improvement
Miami.
right now, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah, definitely.
No
For
way
sure.
to make it look pretty, but yes, that's what it is. And his price tag, I imagine, went up. He scored in the final of the Libertadores, so he's going to have a lot of people going after him right now.
I think
it's going to be
Yeah,
more difficult.
I think the
to get.
rumor was that they offered him 10 million.
yeah. It was around 10 million. Definitely can rise with him playing as well as he has. I know he's in the prime of his career. Palmeiras maybe will probably not want to let him go for a low fee, such as 10 million. Inter Miami bought Rodolfo Pizarro for 12 million. So whatever Rafael Vega is worth is definitely more than whatever they got Rodolfo Pizarro for about 2 years ago. So then again, it all depends. People are gonna say, why would he want to move to Miami? Well, if he's a
Economics.
DP, yeah, money wise, and he'll be he'll be playing with fellow Brazilians like Gregor and Jean Mata, which I presume we'll touch on later. So there's that comfort level as well. I mean, obviously he's Brazilian playing on a Brazilian team, but if he does move to the States, it won't be such a difficult transition for him. And, money wise, it'll be good for him and he'll be a part of a project. Just be the foundation of a project that Inter Miami is trying to build come next year, the year after that, and the year after that.
And in a very Brazilian friendly area too, because I mean,
Yeah.
Pompano is just around the block from the stadium. Very, very Brazilian. Lots. We could show them all the good Brazilian eateries. Casa de Pão.
Yeah.
Casa de Pão is good. I don't know if you're familiar, but that's a good place to go. Get yourself some coxinha, all that good stuff.
Well, you're making me hungry, Peter, with all this talking about food.
Cheese tudo seems like that's right up your alley there, Ed. Burger with egg and ham.
Dude, you're making me hungry.
It's just a monster. It's a heart attack waiting to happen. Some potato chip sticks on there as
Yeah.
well. That's all good stuff.
If I'm going out, that's the way I'm gonna go, with some nice food. But you mentioned it. We got that other player he plays with.
Santos.
What is it, Santos?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about him.
So Jean Mata, he's all but done. Really, he's not featured for Santos for a handful of weeks now. I tweeted something last night that I believe it was a personal trainer or something that with a
saw
little
that.
airplane emoji and a United States flag, which is basically letting the cat out of the bag. Jean Mata will be an Inter Miami player. It's just not been officially announced. But he's a central midfielder. He's 27, 28 years old. If you guys are familiar, Inter Miami did announce their roster decisions going into 2022. Victor Ulloa's option, his contract option was declined, so Jean Mata will probably be an inexpensive replacement for a guy like Victor Ulloa, and if he plays well, presumably he will end up starting alongside Greg Gore. But like I said, Inter Miami still have a full off season to try to get this roster shaped as best as they can, but Jean Mata, he will be an Inter Miami player. Just not announced yet.
So you're saying it's a done deal, and you said a cheaper option.
Yeah.
You think he's cheaper than Ulloa?
His transfer fee was like 500,000. So it was like for his price tag, you would think Brazilian in his prime would be at least $1 million. But from what I've seen, it was pretty cheap in regards to other players on this roster. So. It's not officially announced yet, but it's he's not played for Santos for in a while, and that tweet that I sent, it's pretty much an open secret at this point.
So he's not a DP, which is
Nope.
good for us. I mean,
Nope.
we need a cheaper player, so that's good. He'll be an expensive, non-DP player, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't imagine him being much cheaper than Ulloa. I mean, Ulloa's, I forgot the exact. I don't have the pay the salary thing up on my computer like I normally do, but I think he was over 200,000. I think.
Yeah, I can double check that
Yeah, me too.
actually.
I
Yeah,
normally
there's a
have it
lot
up,
of
but-
players on Inter Miami's roster that, just had a lot of, there were a lot. Let me double check that. Inter Miami player salary.
Well, you can always, just for anybody who wants to know this stuff, you could just go to the MLSPA.
Yeah.
And Victor was making 220,000.
Yeah.
So you imagine he was going to get a raise. So you imagine he might, because his contract was up, you imagine he might be going up to say 300 or something like that. So you're saying you think that Mota is at least under that.
Yeah.
Because he's got to be, if he's, if he's a cheaper option, he's got to be cheaper than Ulloa.
Yeah. His transfer fee was low, but I believe his wages will be around where he's not a DP, unless rules are so I've always got to reread them. So, but he won't be a DP.
And
Nice.
we've got any rumors or thoughts or tidbits on how they're planning on offloading a couple of DPs besides Pizarro.
From what I've heard, and if they were to do that, they would have to terminate some contracts because both Higuain and Matuidi, they don't, there's ends in the at the end of 2022. So they would have to basically, pull what they did with Matthias Pellegrini, I
Hmm.
believe, which is, just, either send them off on loan, or terminate their contract, which is expensive. And I don't think that Miami would want to do that. So they're probably just, for Higuain and Matuidi, they're probably just going to wait out
You
until
think?
the end of 2020. Yeah, I
See,
think they're going to just.
I got the feeling. I mean, to me, at least, this is a smart business move, in my opinion. Is you can only buy out one player, so you buy out
Yeah,
you buy out Matuidi, and you keep
yeah.
and you stick with Higuain.
Anyway.
He was producing, even though he's not my favorite, and he definitely is not my wife's favorite. Just sit with her. Just sit with her for a game, and you'll find out. But Matuidi was a bum, so they
Yeah.
should definitely bite the bullet, pay him off, get him out of here, and free up uh, at least one DP. So you're thinking though that they're going to keep them both.
Yeah, it's just no one's going to offer them anything for the, Matuidi and Higuain. There were some rumors about Higuain potentially retiring this year, but from what I've heard, it all looks like that he will return in 2022 and just finish out his contract, and Matuidi will do the same.
I mean, it
Pizarro will probably get
sold.
sold, but yeah, so
Yeah, but for Higuain, it's hard to walk away from that kind of money. I mean, they
yeah.
There are rumors that River Plate wants him back. So, but I don't think they've got the money to take him now, unless Inter Miami, reduces the price or something. So,
Didn't you
Yeah, I will
squash those
say,
rumors?
yeah, those River Plate rumors were started by a troll, posing as Fabrizio Romano. A credible South American journalist came out and said that Inter Miami did not offer Higuain, so those were false, and yeah, they were just false rumors.
All right. Hey, well, anybody that wants to drop us a call, and they could do that at 786-474-4435. We'll listen to your voicemail. And I'm saying that because we've got a voicemail. So let's go
Let's do
ahead
it.
and play this voicemail.
Hey, Peter and Uncle Ed and Alex, welcome to the show. I'm so glad to see you. It's One World, One Goal, also Italia of the Fusionados. Love following you on Twitter, and you do a fantastic job with all the different reporting you do for so many different places, and we're all excited to support you, to see you move further in the soccer world. So we're just curious, now don't make Peter feel like really old, but tell us how you first got started covering soccer, and what's the first game that you went to. Yes, I'm going off on a little tangent,
That's what we do.
as opposed to talking about our rumors of who they're going to sign. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you first got interested in soccer, and what was one of the first games you went to. And thank you. Keep up the great work. Okay. Love you guys. Love the show.
And I just got a feeling that game's going to be recently.
Um, no, actually,
I mean, in
it was
my
pretty
world,
far back.
recent in my world.
Yeah. Oh, true, true. So as far as the soccer writing goes, it was about late 2019. I was writing for my school's paper, and Inter Miami were coming, and I've always wanted to be a soccer writer. So I basically took my shot with a couple of websites. Sent my resume, sent my some of my older articles in that I did for my school, and I got picked up by MLS Multiplex, and that's where it started from there. And then I snowballed into Lemon City Live and World Football Index, and I branched off into the podcast and the YouTube channel with the Heron Outlet, and it's grown from there. And yeah, I'm just super blessed and thankful that I'm able to do this and provide the best coverage for you guys in terms of Inter Miami, because I know with all these rules, it could be very confusing in the transfer market. It's a lot. So I'm very thankful that you guys follow me and read my work. So as far as the soccer game goes, my first ever soccer game that I ever attended was back in 2012 with the U.S. Women's National Team. They were playing a friendly up in Boca, I believe, against China. I don't remember the team, but I have the ticket stub on my wall right there. Yeah, it was a quite well in my world. It was quite some time ago, nearly 10 years ago. But yeah, that's where that's the first ever game I went to. I played soccer as a kid, but I've never really went to any professional games, and that was the first time I saw soccer live. And it fueled my fire and my passion for the game. And ever since then, I've been a nonstop football fan. I've seen every World Cup since 2014, which is obviously not that long ago, but every year, every 4 years, I get excited about it, and every soccer tournament, I try to I try to watch. So yeah, it's just been a building passion since I've been, a kid, and now it's culminated into me, fulfilling my dream as a soccer writer and covering a local club like Inter Miami. So yeah, not too far back, but it's still kind of old.
That
Eh,
was around the corner for Peter Brown.
yeah, well, that's just it. Is that's so recent. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
I'm coming up on my 20th wedding anniversary, and I got married late. But no, you know what I was thinking, Ed, as she's talking about the first game and stuff like that is, Alex, you're not going to have to go through the hardship, the pain that Ed and I went through as far as getting a team and losing a team, and getting another team and losing the team. Oh, and maybe doing that a couple more times.
Yeah.
That was the soccer landscape for so long here. And with Inter Miami, the pockets are much deeper. The league is in a much different place. And so, they're not going anywhere. So your heart's not going to get broken the way
Ours did.
like ours
Ours
did.
did.
Although you can't, you're trying to go the journalist route, whereas Ed and I are just a couple schmucks on, calling how we see it and having some fun on here. But you kind of have to distance yourself from the fandom and the reporter side of things and not get too close, where we can be total homers.
Yeah, it's a delicate it's a delicate balance. Of course, being a Miami native, I'd like to see the team do well, but of course, I've got to put my biases aside and
Yeah.
cover the team objectively. I can't put my biases in there. It's just the nature of the game, and I don't mind that. Because sometimes you need that objective voice in journalism. You can't take a side. If let's say, I don't know, I can't like back a certain player because I like his game or whatnot. If he had a bad game, I have to say it. If he had a good game, I'll give him credit. But yeah, it's a delicate balance, and yeah, for a long time, Miami, they didn't have a team. Like
Yeah.
I was too young for the fusion, and yeah, I've read about all the struggles that you guys went through. I think at one point, and was it 2009, where Barcelona was interested in maybe starting an expansion club down here, and that fell through, and just several attempts. And I'm just thankful as a Miami, born and bred native, that there's a club here, and I'm fortunate to be able to cover it as a journalist. So it's been really rewarding, and yeah, and I'm super excited to see where the club goes and how it grows, and what they can do in MLS.
Yeah, here's a question Kata asks, and I do see on your Twitter, you do call yourself a tattoo enthusiast, I think.
Yes.
So Kata's saying, after everything we just said, so is it safe to tattoo the crest on me? I think it's safe, Kata. It's safe. I
Yeah.
think it's safe to put a couple herons on your chest.
Yeah. I would say
A
for
couple
sure.
big herons right there. You can just do that.
Yeah.
I think that's all right, Kata. Hey, Ed, you were saying there were some other rumors out there that you wanted to talk about.
Well, gosh, there was some others. We did hear about the possibility of what's his name? Oh man, I just drew a blank because I lost the connection for a little bit. But Pizarro there was a lot of talk about him going to either Monterrey again or Chivas. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's one of the places where Pizarro is going to head? I know he came in to Inter Miami with the hopes of going to Europe, but I just don't think he's done enough for him to have to gather interest across the pond. What do you think about him leaving? I think you're thinking that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, as far as the Mexican teams go, I do believe Chivas is probably, I don't want to say most likely, but probably the most interested in getting Pizarro back. I know he's played there a couple years ago, so they would probably be interested in getting him back. As far as Europe goes, maybe a lower tier La Liga side. Maybe I haven't heard anything in regards to that, but yeah, they're definitely looking to offload Pizarro. He's the likelier of the three DPs to go. So
There's value.
it's most likely that he probably goes back to Mexico.
And they can probably get some money off of him. So we already know at least Higuain's probably not going anywhere because the River Plate idea is squashed. Any other player with Inter Miami that you've heard of that could, possibly leave other than the ones that they've mentioned? I know they basically said they're willing to negotiate with any player that they've said they've kept. For example, Breck Shea is one of, I think, everybody's favorite lately. Do you think he's going to stay or do you think he's going?
Well, Breck Shea is a free agent. He can basically sign with any team now. I believe Inter Miami did say in their press release when they announced their roster decisions that they are in conversations with a couple of players. I do believe that he could be one of them. He's a fan favorite. He's very versatile. He can play left back, left wing back, left winger. So having a guy like that who's really good just coming off the bench would be ideal for Inter Miami to keep. As far as if he will return. I haven't heard anything regarding that, but yeah, he'd be a good option off the bench for Miami. As far as the rest of the roster goes, Inter Miami, they're going to be short a bunch of transfer allocation money going into these next few years, so they're going to be looking to get return on some of their higher valued players on the roster currently. So don't be surprised if you see a couple of fan favorites get traded away to other MLS teams for allocation money, just because Inter Miami just need to hoard as much money as they can because they're short because of the sanctions. So I don't know any specific names, but let's say the trade deadline it's coming up in mid-December, early December. So be on the lookout if Miami does trade for a player. If they do trade away a player, it's the nature of the beast. It's unfortunate, but they're just looking to get as much money back as they can. So yeah, there are plenty of good players that they could trade away, but it all just depends on balancing the books and getting the most competitive roster that they can going into this first year of sanctions.
Yeah, and when Chris Henderson had his press conference, I mean, he kind of let you feel like somebody might go that you like, because somebody asked the question, something to the effect of, how if the fans lose a fan favorite, how are they going to feel? How are you going to deliver that news to the fans? And his reaction was something to the effect that they'll learn to love the new guy, something like that. And that made us kind of think about last week, talking about somebody who is kind of a huge fan favorite, but also has marketability and other teams might want. And if they're looking at everybody's available, you could see somebody like Morgan potentially, right? I mean, I was thinking that's the one that would hurt. That's the one that would hurt everybody, right? He had a down year, but we know he's quality. And actually that plays into, you touched on that you weren't sure, but I think Jose wants to push it a little bit more, because he says, Jose Martinez says, if you had to guess one fan favorite player to be traded, who would it be, with trades being inevitable this offseason? So he wants you to pick one. Who you think? I think if it was going to be one that would really hurt and surprise everybody, it would be Morgan.
Yeah, it would be Lewis Morgan. I know
There's
that
value.
there are. Yes, he is not only valuable. There are a couple of MLS teams that would be interested in his services. He's just got a really good skill set, and then unfortunately, although he did have a pretty good season last year, it's not really clicked this season. Yeah, there are MLS teams interested. There are other MLS teams interested in other players on this roster, but yeah, it would probably be Lewis Morgan. It's unfortunate, but that's the hand Inter Miami kind of dealt themselves with. The Matui thing and the sanctions. It's going to be rough if that does happen. It's going to be rough for the fans to take, but they've got to get some money or some return on their investment. So yeah, I would say Lewis Morgan would be that guy.
Yeah, because there's going to be some coach out there that says, yeah, he had a down year, but that's because they weren't using him properly. I can. There's the bravado of another coach out there is going to be like, I can make him what he once was. They weren't using him properly, and that's potential right there to happen. Who knows if it will, but there's definitely, I think and it would if they got rid of him, I think you might actually lose some fans. There are some fans that are right there on their edge of their seats that just aren't as diehard as some of us are, that are like, nah, just screw these guys. They won't even keep a good player.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, and going back to Vega a little bit, he would probably be a DP, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
He's
for
not
that kind of
a
money.
yeah, he's definitely DP.
Yeah, so that's replacing Pizarro or something, or buying out Matuidi right there. Because
Mm.
yeah, for a 10 million or
Right.
more transfer, and like you said, his value might go up now. Thanks for scoring. Uh,
Yeah.
he didn't have to
Good,
score in
good
that
score.
game. You know,
Yeah, the
we already
final ball
wanted you.
almost.
We already wanted you. Didn't need to have to raise your value. I mean, we'll take you on the cheap if we could. Sean Callahan is asking, could you see Inter moving for old man Altidore? I'm adding the old man part. Or is he going to ask for too much?
No. Phil Neville specifically said that they're trying to go younger.
Exactly.
I believe Josie he's looking up his age right now. He's
30.
32, so
Yeah.
he's just 2 years younger than Higuain. That wouldn't make sense. He's perpetually injured. It just wouldn't make sense. Although he's a great player, I do think I've read some things that Josie probably is moving outside of MLS anyway. So that's a no. They're Inter Miami's trying to get younger. It just wouldn't make it just wouldn't make any sense.
Right. So
All right, more
that's
questions coming in from the chat. They love throwing these out at you. Any chance Acosta gets re-signed at a lower deal? That is one that surprised me because
Yeah.
he was injured his first year. He proved himself, I think, in Fort Lauderdale. He deserved a chance. He's cheap, so I don't get why they let him go. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a fan of George Acosta. I've watched him for Fort Lauderdale CF. He's a great player. This one's a difficult one because he is Inter Miami did decline his contract option, and if you look at that list, guys like Ventura Alvarado, Dylan Castanera, Jay Chapman, Leardon McCarthy, Josh Penn, Victor Joa, these are probably guys that aren't returning. So if I have to lean towards a narrative, George Costa is on that list, the more likely he probably won't be returning. I would like to see Inter Miami bring him back because I just think he has a good skill set. Plus, he's a Miami native, and it would make sense. But um, as far as that goes, I think we just have to wait and see because Phil Neville did say they want the roster to get younger, and George would be a part of that. So I would like to see him back, but it does remain to be seen if Miami will bring him back. But it's leaning more towards no.
I don't get
If
that
he
one.
does, yeah, if he does resign, it'll be great. But it is definitely more towards a no than him returning, which is unfortunate because I like him as a player. But
Yeah, and like I said, there's value there. I mean,
yeah,
he was playing in Fort Lauderdale, so he's not going to come. Even if his contract had to be renegotiated, he's not going to get much more. You know,
yeah, no.
yeah.
he was
What
going. They were
about
going to
let's
have him on the cheap.
Hmm.
let's talk about Fort Lauderdale. You've been following them as well. What players there do you think are going to be in the first team this time? We're going to need them because of the
Yeah,
sanctions.
of course. I think we actually interviewed one of them, which I believe is going to come up to the first team. Noah Allen. He won USL League One Player of the Season for Fort Lauderdale CF. We interviewed him on the Heron Outlet. He's a 17-year
17
old.
years old. Wow.
Yeah, he's an absolute baller. He's a good player. Of course he's still young and has a lot to learn, but his game is just what you want from a left back. When we spoke to Noah, he said he does when he's training with the first team, he does take a lot of inspiration from Kieran Gibbs and Breck Shea, and they do give him pointers. And I believe if you guys remember, Inter Miami did take a group, which is going back to the George Acosta thing. They did take a group of 3 guys, which I believe George Acosta, Harvey Neville, and Noah Allen were a part of those. They were the 3 guys that went to the New England trip. So it doesn't even make sense that George wasn't re-signed. But I digress. But yeah, I think it'll be Noah Allen, Harvey Neville, Mitch Curry, who had a great year. He was scoring loads of goals. Guys like Sean Hundal will probably get a chance with the first team. You guys can see it. If you look at Inter Miami's social media closely, you can see some of them training in the background and some of their photos. So, yeah, there's a lot of talent in Fort Lauderdale to be tapped, and um, excuse me, I do believe that yeah, we're gonna see a lot of them just due to the sanctions come up next season, and I'm super excited because I followed Fort Lauderdale closely this season. I watched literally all of their games, and yeah, it's time for some of these youngins to get called up. Mabika's another one, the 6'6" out of University of Kentucky center back that will definitely be getting a first team contract. come 2022. So there's just a lot of excitement and potential with these guys, and yeah, I'm excited even more so than I say Rafael Vega or John Mata, because guys like Noah Allen, if they play their cards correctly, come 5 years he could still be with the team, fulfill his potential, and let's say he wants to go off to Europe, Inter Miami could sell him for a good profit. So um yeah, those are the guys: Noah Allen, Harvey Neville, Emema Bika, Sean Hundal, Mitch Curry. Those are all guys that I would just keep an eye on, to see if they do get first team contracts come January, February.
I got to give a shout out to Terry Allen. He's one of our he listens to us sometimes, and he's also a Southern Legion member, I believe. So
Is he?
Oh, nice.
good for him. Yeah.
I'm cracking up because the chat's making me laugh.
What they got to say?
Well, I mean, first off, some of them are their feelings are hurt that I haven't read their question yet, and so there's question if there's bias that and do I play favorites? I think Esteban's feelings might be hurt. So let's and we do not want that. He is one of our favorites. Just so you know, Esteban, you are one of our favorite critics. Ed, you said he was one of our favorite critics, and so he's questioning, am I really? I mean, these guys, they want to feel loved. And
of course.
He says, let's put this up. Question for Alex. Besides the opportunity to branch into our football world, what are the things that have surprised you the most, and what are the things it has not kind of disappointed? So what has surprised you and what has disappointed you, I guess, in covering football? Specifically, maybe Inter Miami.
Yeah, that's a good question. Surprised. I honestly, since I've been a soccer fan, nothing has really fazed me. I've seen most of it all. As disappointing, yeah, I think I've seen it all. As far as disappointing goes, I think I kind of expected Inter Miami to be better at the beginning of their life in MLS, in terms of just hiring a coach and buying the right players and having a philosophy. I think they put the cart before the horse, in terms of just they're so focused on the branding and the stadium and Miami Freedom Park, which is also another big issue, which I have not heard anything in regards to that. So it's still on the back burner. I kind of expected them to be a little bit more smart with their roster moves. It's Miami. Plenty of players want to come play down here, but they got the initial roster build so horribly wrong, and they're still paying for it. So I guess that's what I would say I'm the most disappointed by. But with the hiring of Chris Henderson, they've got good people in place to remedy their mistakes, and it's only up from here with the club. And it's going to be difficult. You see Nashville SC they're currently in the playoffs, and it's only their second year. Look at their roster build compared to Inter Miami's, and I know there's two separate clubs, but I can't help but think, had Inter Miami done it differently, they would be in the playoffs right now. So it's disappointing, but as a journalist, I'm just excited to uncover stories and to follow the club, and try to get the best information out there, and try to help people understand, what's going to happen, what's what they're trying to do, and whatnot. So.
All right, more questions coming in. Chris R. June is saying, center back Modesto Mendez plays for Cuba and is a decent, skillful player for Fort Lauderdale. He was always in the starting 11. What do you think about him?
I agree. I rate him a lot. He's played alongside, Mabika a lot with Fort Lauderdale. I like him. I would compare him to Nico Figal, in the sense that he's very, he's he's a good defender. He's not afraid to put in a tackle. He will take people off the ball if he needs to. He's a type of aggressive defender that I think Inter Miami will need going into next season. It remains to be seen if Miami will call him up, but when I watched him, I do rate him a lot. I think he's a proper defender, an old school defender, no nonsense defending.
That's good. And especially if he's similar to a Figal, I mean, he can be cheaper.
Yeah. He would be a good option if Nico Figal. There are some rumors about him maybe leaving too. If Figal does go, he would be a decent, more than decent, a good replacement.
I heard somebody in Mexico wanted him, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I believe it was Tigres. They were inquiring. Yeah.
All All right. So, yes, Esteban, I would love to have you sit next to me during one of the games. I tell you, these are the things that are important to people. They're having fun in the chat. They're having fun in the chat.
Well, that's
The
cool.
chat has its own show, by the way. So,
oh yeah, they're
going
doing their
on
own
at the
thing.
same time that we're doing this.
Yeah,
ahead,
Peter,
Ed.
I wanted to mention something. Maybe Alex can help us find out more about this. I'm hearing a team in South America has approached Inter Miami about doing a game in January as the presentation of their team. So they're willing to pay some good bucks for Inter Miami to show up. It's a championship team in South America that went pretty far in Copa Libertadores, and so that's on the table. They've offered to pay for everything, and on top of that, they want to see if David Beckham could be in it. So I'm sure they'll want to pay a little bit more for that. So what do you think of that? Would be good for Inter Miami. I'm sure there would be like a fee for their presentation, especially if David Beckham's going. He's going to get his own good portion. What do you think about something like that, Alex?
Are you talking about the Montevideo Wanderers? There was a potential, basically like a partnership between them. Or was that what you were referring to? Or
No, it's actually a whole different
Hmm.
thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's
interesting.
what you're talking about too. I guess we can talk about that. But yeah,
Mhm.
no, this is for the presentation of that team in South America, and they would pay for Inter Miami to go in January. I don't know. I've heard this Inter Miami schedule is a little complicated because apparently they've got their own plans for preseason. Have you heard anything about that?
Preseason, not yet, not yet. It's been all quiet on their front in regards to that. But as soon as I hear something, obviously I will go tweet it, shout it to the world, because I know people are going to be interested in what this 2022 Inter Miami will look like, especially with the sanctions. So, yeah, I think any South American trip away, preseason wise, I think it'll be a world of good for Miami, just to get the new guys integrated, just to, because I know this season they weren't able to because of COVID, and they've had to come back to Fort Lauderdale because of certain things, and they weren't able to get a proper preseason. So, yeah, if this coming season, if they were able to get together, bond a little bit, go on a proper preseason, get those tactics in, get what Phil Neville wants them to do in, it could do a world of it could be very different for Miami come 2022.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get some more information on that and
Mm.
pinpoint which team it actually is,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll have some of that next week. Somebody had mentioned that I don't know if you could see Don Bear. Peter wrote something about apparently there's a mini tournament that Inter Miami wants to do
A mini tournament in regards to
in
hosting
Miami
other.
As preseason.
Hmm.
as
Yeah,
a
I have
preseason.
not heard about that. And there's a lot of like rumors going around. Sometimes they're just chatter. I have to look into this one, but most of the time it's always Inter Miami's going to do this when actuality it's just a thing that someone made up or is wishful thinking. But I will definitely look into this. I have not heard anything in regards to that, but it would make sense. I know there are some mini tournaments that they're doing, but they're FIFA, the video game related. They did have I believe was it Lewis Morgan and I think Indiana Vasiliev. They played each other in like a little mini FIFA tournament. So that's the tournament I've heard of. But yeah, I'll definitely look into that and see um, what you're saying there.
Yeah, and the good thing about these little tournaments is that they can make some money off of them, or if they go to South America, they can they'll definitely make some money off of that, and that's something the team needs because with this whole COVID thing, they've lost a lot of money, and it's time to make it back.
Yep, I definitely agree.
There's I don't know if this is love, Ed, or what, but it says, I like the fact that Uncle Ed is able to interact with Alex, unlike the last time where he almost fell asleep on the show. I'm not
Which
sure if
last
that's a
time?
compliment, but there you
No,
go.
no, I guess not. It depends. Sometimes, Peter is talking. I just don't want to interrupt, and he can go. So, just or if the guest is really good, and they're talking all the time, I don't want to interrupt. Yeah, I think
All
he's
right,
talking
all right.
about with
I-
Thomas Rongen.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just
We want him to talk as much as he wants, so that's good.
he's just poking. That's all. Jose Martinez is asking you, what are your thoughts on Jairo Quinteros? I don't even know if I say it right.
Yeah,
Jairo Quinteros.
highly rated Jairo Quinteros, Bolivian
Bring it up.
international, great player. I'm excited. He's not played for Inter Miami. He's been on loan for what, 2 years. So, and Inter Miami, if Nico Figal were to go, I am excited because he's definitely a proper player, and I think he could do really well here. Um, yeah, they've not, he's not been sold or anything. As far as I know, he's still an Inter Miami player. Maybe he'll come into preseason, but I'm super excited for him. I think he's a great player. He's strong. He's 5'11". He's played for the Bolivian national team. He's starting a back three. So he's versatile. If Neville wants to play a back four, back three, so he could play either ways. But yeah, I'm excited about him. I'm excited for him. He's a great player, and I think he'll do really well here in Miami.
Gotta get it. We gotta see him play.
Yep.
With a pink. Kata is asking, this was kind of a cool move by Gibbs, asking for half of his salary on Bitcoin. What do you think about that? How much do you know about Bitcoin, Alex?
Slowly but surely, I'm getting onto that. I'm learning. It's a bit foreign, but I like the spirit of it. I think it's really interesting. Another tidbit I will say: when I was at the sponsor jersey unveiling, was it a couple months ago? Kieran was super interested in what XBTO had to say, and he was just super into the idea of crypto, and he was talking about how he's studied it and he wants to get deeper into that. So it didn't shock me when he said, I want half of my salary to be in crypto. He just seems like the super, he's super analytical in regards to just he breaks everything down. He thinks everything through. So when I saw that, I wasn't really shocked that he did. And I think crypto. It's interesting. I'm still doing my research on it, but I do think it's an interesting concept, and it's interesting. I still have to go a bit, have a deeper dive on that, but I do think it's a concept for the future. It could be good.
Yeah,
Like anything, it could be good and bad. But as far as what I've seen, it's been pretty okay so far. So
what that tells me, because I don't know a whole lot about it either, but I do know at times it has been a volatile market, and that's just says right there that he's got the money to play around. He's able to risk it. Like,
Yes.
none of us probably would be in that position where we want to risk half of our salary, right? So, but
Yeah.
he's at a position in his career where he can do that, and it could really pay off big, or he could lose it. But he's at that point in a career where he could probably manage that. So,
I agree.
all right.
Good for him.
A question that came in a while ago. Alex, is it true Ascona had pro issues which led him to being frozen out? That was something that was getting tossed around a bit a while back.
Yeah, I will say Phil Neville came out and just flatly denied those reports. He, emphatically denied them. So as far as that goes, I don't think there was anything to that. Phil Neville said it wasn't true, and yeah, there was nothing to that.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. Have you heard any movement on Miami Freedom Park? Like, I'm perfectly happy with the team staying in Florida. I'm just saying, because I'm a Broward guy. I'm perfectly happy with them. But I know a good portion of the fan base, like Ed, would really prefer for them to be in Miami. So, have you heard any movement on the Miami Freedom Park?
I have not, but I will say Mayor Francis Suarez, I believe someone mentioned it in the comments that that he's making he's making Miami Freedom Park his big ticket item.
Yep.
So he wants to get that done. So at this point it's hope and pray mode, because this has been going on for so long. I think, I live in Dade as well, so it would be significantly easier for me to get to the stadium compared to Broward, but Drive Pink is a good stadium as well. So yeah, it's I've not heard anything recent on that, but hopefully Mayor Francis Suarez, he and Miami, and the club can, just get something done in regard to that, because I know it's been a really big issue for Inter Miami. So it would be good if they are able to get that done.
All right. So, hey, let's. I was reading some of the comments. We've got Richard Greenberg is checking in from Toronto with the Toronto Bradley FC, as he calls them now. They've been rebranded apparently. So let's wrap things up and just kind of talk about where everybody can find you and a little bit about the Heron Outlet and all that kind of stuff, where they can watch and listen to your takes.
Right. So the Heron Outlet, me, Austin Robillard, Ian Hess, and our producer Andres, we basically cover anything soccer, anything Inter Miami related. We have a YouTube channel at the Heron Outlet where we have interviews. We've interviewed coach of Fort Lauderdale CF, Darren Powell. We've interviewed Noah Allen. He's a great kid. We've got Transfer Talk. We have our podcast on there, video. We do have a podcast as well through audio. We have a Twitter account and Instagram at the Heron Outlet. So if you ever want Inter Miami news, analytical, tactical breakdowns, you head over to the Heron Outlet, and we've got all your needs covered.
Way more analytical than the nonsense we bring you here. We're a little more. We're a little more for your entertainment value than your actual news value. But
we're homers, and we have no shame.
We may bring you some news, but we're going to try to make you laugh about it a little bit more than just.
Especially because we're losing now, so it's a bad team.
There's only so much you could complain about, right? So you got to laugh, but. Hey, thanks so much, Alex. It was a lot of fun having you on, and everybody in the chat. There's been plenty of compliments in the chat that I didn't even read. Somebody saying that you're clear and concise, which I took as unlike us. That's at least how I'm taking it, because it's probably right. You're not drinking alcohol like we are, so that's part of it. Sometimes
just my Zephyr Hill.
Sometimes professional.
When we're not. So. This is but this is great. So everybody needs. I have your Twitter handle up on the up all night tonight, so everybody can follow you on Twitter. So you see it up on the screen. And thanks so much for tuning in, coming on. I'm starting to wrap up the whole show and thanking them for tuning in, but thank you for joining us, and thanks for doing what you're doing. We enjoy you, reading everything you put up on Twitter and stuff like that, and following. So keep it up.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I love the show even before I came on, so I was super stoked that you guys asked me, and thank you so much, and hopefully I can continue covering Inter Miami as well as I can. So
all right,
thank you.
We'll ask you to come back in the future. You were great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Alex. We'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
So Ed, I figured I would just end with Alex just a minute or two early while we wrap up and talk about. I should have actually asked her this, but we asked her so many questions, but it was just Thanksgiving, right? And so I was just curious when maybe people in the chat can kind of talk about it a little bit too for the last few minutes, but it makes me question, Thanksgiving, we're supposed to be thankful, right? And now we're leading into Christmas. Well, except for me. I mean, I started Christmas in my house 3 weeks ago. But I am that annoying neighbor, that puts up their Christmas ornaments outside 3 weeks earlier than you're supposed to. But I don't care. But still, this weekend made me question, from an Inter Miami perspective, what are we thankful for?
Well, I think we're thankful that we have a team, first of all.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. Win, lose, or draw, and I know some of our viewers don't like when we talk like this, but win, lose, or draw, I'm just thankful we have a team, because you and I have been through so much as far as the soccer highs and lows that I'm just thankful we got a team. What else?
We got a team that's going to be here for a while. We know we're going to, this ownership has deep pockets, so we know we're not going to lose the team anytime soon unless they, in the future they sell. But I don't think, as long as the Moss brothers are involved, I think we're going to stay here. We're going to stay in Miami or South Florida at least for a good while. That's another thing. I'm happy for the Moss brothers.
Yeah,
I'm happy for them, for David Beckham, for being the guy that the face of the team, I guess you could say.
Sure.
But what else, Peter? I mean, what else
Chris Menendez is saying he's thankful for Gregory. And I can second that. You know, some of the players had a lot of off years. You know, Morgan had an off year, but Gregory was solid, and definitely very thankful for that. Yeah, I'm just, thankful that I can sit at a game with my friends after so many years and just enjoy it. But also what the team needs to be thankful for, besides us, right? Because we're just part of the fans. And the passionate fans that we are, that's, they should thank all fans. But I think a special thank you needs to go out to the three supporters clubs. You've got definitely. Southern Legion, Vice City, and Siege. Couldn't remember the last one. But thankful for them to bringing the environment to that stadium every single week, win, lose, or draw.
Fun.
I mean, a lot of teams, their fan groups kind of empty out when the team sucks, and our group there stayed.
They stick around to the very end,
right?
So that's good. Look at Kata he's very thankful that the off season is short.
I agree. It is so cool that, I mean, man, we're going to get through Christmas and I hope, one thing I'm hopeful for is something that Alex did mention, is that the trade deadline ends somewhere middle of December. I didn't realize that.
Wow.
That excited to see if there's any trades. I mean, that is something that happens in MLS. So what kind of trades are we going to have to say goodbye to a fan favorite like a Morgan? Or are we going to say goodbye to somebody we just, it's okay. We're all right with losing that person, good. You trade maybe, similar type players, one that you just might think is a better fit. So some nice compliments coming in here for us. Esteban saying,
mm-hmm.
Yep. We are thankful we have FMTV, in which we have the best Dorao's uncle and charismatic Peter, seasoned by his Brazilian wife. Don Bear is thankful for FMTV as well. So thank you to you guys. And that was the other thing I was thinking of when it was just, but not so much the team, but you guys, the viewers, because this is no fun if it's just me and Ed. Like, we've done this before without very many people watching or anything like that. And while you and I would have fun, it's way more fun when you guys are with us along for the ride in the chat room. So thank you to you guys for being with us each and every week. Some of you guys are here every single week. A lot of you are. And regardless of whether the team's good or bad, regardless of if we have anything interesting to say or not, you're here. And we do this
dealing
together.
with our ugly mugs, man. I mean, before we used to be just a podcast, you can even see our ugly mugs, but now you see it every week. Peter's a better sight than I am, so I don't know why people, tune in to see my ugly ass, but it's all good. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Hey, you found one person that thinks you're a good-looking young man, and that's all that matters, right? Same here.
Oh,
you found
true.
All you got to do is find one person. Who cares what anybody else
one
says?
for everybody,
you just got to find one
right?
person, right?
My lovely wife, I don't know what she saw in me, but she saw something, so it's all good.
Oh, that's funny. Esteban Dito is actually saying, "Is Ed married? Thought he was an unabashed Mr. Bachelor."
I was for a while.
For a long time.
Yeah. But then I found a lady who put up with me, and I'm an instant granddad, too.
Instant, yeah.
That was quick.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually coming up on my 20th anniversary in a couple of weeks. So I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot. Usually you probably should do something big, but I don't know. But I think we're going to plan a trip next year, and we'll just call that the 20th. Busy time of the year now. So the Thanksgiving's over. Now we're rolling into Christmas. We've got the trade deadline. We might take 1 or 2 weeks off during the Christmas break for Christmas and New Year's. But other than that, we'll still be doing shows solid. And we need to. I remember last year. I think it was One World, One Goal kept saying that all the players and the coach all had to be nailed down because, we were still looking for a new coach, right? It all had to be nailed down by December. And of course, everything, even with our first coach, right? It all happened really, really late. And that's one thing they need to do this year is they need to forget about Christmas, forget about New Year's, and just stay working and get all this stuff tied up and nailed down soon because, they got rid of a bunch of players. They need to bring in a bunch of players. And even if they're cheap, whatever it is, they got to make it happen now. So
yeah, and the rumor is Chris Henderson's out looking for players right now as we speak.
He's in Brazil.
He's still working.
So I don't know where in Brazil. Maybe he's in my wife's city, Curitiba. I don't know. But he's probably up in Rio, and I'm sure he's going to visit Santos and going to visit Palmeiras. I'm sure he's going to see those two clubs in particular for those two players. Well, you know what? If Alex is right that Jean Mota is already tied down, there's really no reason to go to Santos then. If he's already tied up and tied down and done, there's really no reason to go there. But I would imagine he is definitely going to visit Palmeiras and say hi and try to, convince him to come on down to Miami. So
and maybe find us some more players. Last season. Last 2 seasons, it was more of an Argentinian connection. Now they're going the Brazilian way. So we'll see how that works out.
The market's kind of changed. I mean, some of that could be the market. Some of that could be just where their scouts are. I hope they don't do, I felt like with the previous regime, they focused on one place too much. And there's definitely talent all around the world. So hopefully they don't focus only on Brazil. But the thing is, there's so much talent in Brazil. And there's a lot that's, clubs that are struggling that could use a paycheck for a player, a nice buyout for a player or something like that. There's a lot of clubs that are struggling. So, but the Brazilian business is a little bit on the corrupt side at times. So,
yeah, it's a tough business, man. There's soccer. It's hard to make money and easy to lose money. You see in South America, a lot of players, a lot of teams that are going under.
Exactly. So, Cata wants somebody from Colombia. Chris Menendez wants him to go to Ecuador. See, everybody's got their favorites, but I want the scouts to go everywhere. I don't care about.
Ecuador might be cheaper right now. Their soccer team is doing their national team is doing really well with players that are, after the United States, their average players. I think Ecuador has the second lowest. Age average. U.S. is the lowest right now. So our future, and I guess Ecuador's future is pretty good too.
Yeah, One World, One Goal still feels that December 15th all players should be nailed down. That's actually my my anniversary day, December 15th. Okay. Esteban, we'll finish with this because we could keep going. Peter, I agree. So much talent that I will be planning a trip to Brazil and find me a wife over there. I found me a Brazilian wife in Orlando, but
there's a lot of Brazilians there. Maybe it might be cheaper. Go to Orlando.
Yeah, it's a cheaper trip. I found my Brazilian wife up there, so there you go. Take that.
A lot of Brazilians up there. Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Alex Windley. Check her out on Twitter, and. I was like, what was it? Well, it's on another page, but go check her out on Twitter. You guys all know where to find her. Listen to her on the Heron Outlet. That's where she is a lot. And so thanks to her. And as always, thanks to Caneswear. Go to Caneswear and do your Christmas shopping. That is a place to go to get all your Inter Miami gear and University of Miami and Marlins and all the local teams. So go there and do some shopping. Caneswear. Ed, I guess we'll do this again next week.
Yes, Peter, we'll have another good guest. We'll let you guys know in a few. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tell your friends.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we will see you next week.